This is the only video you need to watch to understand how AI video models work behind the scenes and how they're different from typical LLMs. You would be surprised to know that AI video is not generated frame by frame. It is built from noise inside a compressed representation of time. It is far more complex than a simple clip generation. Let me explain. Most people assume that a prompt directly creates a video. This is not how these systems operate. And by the end of this video, you're going to have a solid understanding of how AI video models work, what happens behind the scenes, how they get put together as one cohesive scene with multiple clips that are very, very real looking. This is exactly what we're going to be covering in this video, and you don't want to miss any of it. If you have used ChatGPT before, you already understand the basic idea. You give it some text and it generates more text. Video is a different problem because now the model has to generate something that changes over time, which is basically moving objects. So the question we're answering is how you go from a simple text prompt to a full moving video. Let's generate a video with a very simple prompt. So the prompt that I'm going to type here is that create a video of a dog running on the beach during sunset. Now this started with just a simple text prompt, and within seconds you get a full video. There was no camera setup and no filming and no editing process involved.
The golden hour light creates a magical backdrop for this simple moment of pure happiness. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to enjoy the simple things today.
Now let's take this clip and break down how this actually works. So what exactly is an AI video model? Let us start with something very familiar. When you use ChatGPT, it breaks your text into smaller pieces called tokens. It then predicts the next token step by step until it forms a complete response. At a high level, it is generating text over time. AI video models use a similar idea, but instead of predicting words, they are predicting motions. Get it? The challenge here is that the video is not really made of words, so the model needs a way to represent it. Instead of working directly with the raw pixel, the model breaks into smaller structured pieces across space and time. You can think of these as small units of motion that represent part of a scene. I know this is getting a little too complicated, but remember, just like how text becomes tokens, video becomes structured pieces that the model can generate and refine over time. So what is the technical layer behind text becoming a video? Okay, now let's go a little bit deeper and connect the technical side of how this is all happening. In language models, text gets converted into vectors, which are numerical representations of meaning. This is what allows the model to understand relationships between words. So something very similar happens in AI video. When you type a prompt, the first step is that your text is converted into a text embedding. This is a vector that represents the meaning of your prompt. At the same time, the model is not generating video directly as pixels. It works in something called a latent space, which is a compressed representation of video that is easier for the model to generate and manipulate. So now you have two key components. You have a text embeddings that represent your prompt, and you have latent representation where the video is being formed. The model then connects these using attention mechanisms. At each step, it uses meaning of your text to guide how the video should evolve over time. In the example that I showed you, dog running on the beach. So that's exactly what it was doing in the back. All AI video models start the video frame with some sort of noise. So when people say these models start from noise, they are actually referring to a completely random image with no structure. It looks like a static with no recognizable object. The model then takes that random starting point and gradually refines it over multiple steps. So at first it forms a rough shape, then those shapes become more defined. Over time, they turn into recognizable objects and eventually into smooth motion. So the dog video that we generated basically started with a very static image of nothing, and then it slowly formed it into a dog, into an ocean, and then a dog running, and then I put motion behind it. So that's exactly what was happening behind the scenes. So the process is transforming randomness into structured and then into a final video that matches your prompt. Okay, but here's a real problem with AI models. It's the consistency. The hardest part of AI video is not generating a single frame. It is keeping everything consistent over time. For example, if I were to use the same prompt again of dog running on a beach, or if you were to take my prompt and use the same prompt again, it's going to look something very different. The model has to maintain identity, keep motion smooth, and prevent objects from changing in unexpected ways. And that's why it looks different. And at the same time, it has limitations on how much of a sequence it can process at once. So all those limitations combined, the consistency is one of the biggest challenge when it comes to video generation or AI video models. So when the video gets longer, the model can lose track of the details, which is why you sometimes see flickering or inconsistency. This is one of the main areas where these systems are still improving. Now let me show you something a little bit more advanced. This is basically a clip of me that I generated with AI. It's my AI twin. So watch this. So as a data analyst, you don't get replaced by AI, but you get replaced if you refuse to evolve with it. And that's been true in tech long before AI ever showed up. This sounds very real, right? This is the version of me, which is my AI twin, which I generated using HeyGen, who is also sponsoring this part of the video. What I did is recorded a short clip of myself around 30 seconds, and that was enough to create a digital version of me that talks like me and looks like me and is sitting in the same setup as me. The system is basically capturing small details like my expressions, the timing, the way I tilt my head, subtle movement, how I move my hand, but it still looks pretty natural. Although I can definitely tell if it's me or if it's an AI, but a person who is not like watching me every day might not be able to tell. So after that, what I did is I provided a script. The system converts that into an audio, breaks it into small sound units, and maps those sounds to facial movement. For example, the way I talk, the way I use my hand gestures when I'm talking. So everything we talked about earlier is happening here in a more focused way. Instead of generating a full scene like dog running on the beach, the system is focused on keeping a human face consistent while speaking over time and using the footage that I uploaded as the base layer to build that entire image. A couple of places where I see tools like HeyGen getting more adopted is, for example, when it comes to, let's say if I create some course or educational material that is in English, but I need to translate it into Spanish. Like that is a very relevant use case. We can take those footage and turn it into Spanish of me talking and sitting so it feels more natural and organic. I could also take like some of my Google slide lectures and turn that into video. And if somebody doesn't want to go through like the production setup, they can actually write a few prompts and create very good looking and real looking videos with HeyGen. Okay, there are so many use cases out there. These are just some that I have been thinking about of what an AI model can be used for. There are many more use cases that I'm sure you can come up with. I'm going to link it in the description below if you want to try it out. And yes, the system does require that your identity verification and consent, so your likeness stays under your control and nobody else can use it. If you want to try it out, I'll be leaving a link in the description below. Now let's move on to how you would actually build something like this as a developer, my favorite part. So if you're a developer, there are 3 ways to build with AI video depending on how much control you want. And we're going to start with the least technical to the most technical one. The first option is the simplest. You use a tool, type your prompt, and generate a video. For example, HeyGen is one example that I showed earlier. And this is, I guess, like this is developer and non-developer as well, because anybody with non-tech experience can use it. The second option is to use an API, which gives you more flexibility and allows you to build your own application. You can use simple code like this to write your code using an API. The third option is to build parts of the system yourself using Python with libraries such as Image.io. You're not training a large model from scratch, but you can simulate the core idea of generating motion and turning it into a video. And obviously with this option, you get a lot more control and customization. Okay, with everything I shared, what exactly is the future of AI video? Here is my honest opinion. Yes, AI video is improving fast, but it is actually not perfect. These models can still hallucinate. I have seen examples where a generated video starts saying things that were never in the prompt. In one case, a friend of mine generated a video that completely went off track and produced inappropriate language. So even though the output looks realistic, the system can still fail in ways that are hard to predict. There's also a growing issue around trust. It is becoming harder to tell what is real and what is generated. I even sometimes get comments, people asking if my videos are generated with AI because the setup looks too perfect and too polished. The line between real and synthetic is literally starting to blur. And as this technology improves, there are real ethical questions that need to be addressed. Things like identity, consent, and how these tools should be used are still being figured out. There are safeguards today, but they will likely need to be stronger policies as this becomes more widespread. All right, with that, I hope this video was helpful for you. Now, let me know in comments what is your take on AI video models. And next time you see an AI generated video, remember that it did not begin as a video. It started as a prompt. It was transformed into motion and was built step by step into something that looks real. If you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe for more and let me know in comments what I should cover next. With that, I hope you're having a beautiful day. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.